Hey guys, it's Janie from the League-Kempner House in Galveston. We're going to pick up where we left off last week, and I left y'all hanging with that bottle and glass stopper that we found. It was really fun to find something on the property. We had a metal detector in one time and we found just a couple of tiny things, but there's been so much dirt added to the property over the years that anything good is probably buried very deep and couldn't be picked up by the metal detector. But remember, in this grading process, we're taking a lot of that topsoil that was added into the yard for the garden over the years off to get the slope running away from the house so that water doesn't pour into our basement. This is kind of our last effort to do that. And we also took down, remember a couple weeks ago, some of those palm trees that had the lethal bronzing disease, and one that wasn't sick but the state agriculture department determined was at end of life and kind of a risk for falling, was this huge one right where he's digging right now, and we've got to get the stumps out. So they're actually digging much deeper than we would normally do, and it turned out to be quite problematic to get this thing out. It was a little scary to watch. This equipment's really heavy and Josh knows what he's doing, but when you're watching from the outside, he has to dig down so deep and you can't see it because it's behind the dirt pile, but when he tries to lift up, the whole machine actually comes off the ground because its front bucket's going under the palm tree and it's not moving, and with the hydraulic system something has to give, so the whole bucket lift comes off the ground. So he kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, and in the end he went down about 8 feet or so. Now we've got 2 more big these stumps to remove, so we ended up changing course and not doing that because it was so difficult to get this one out. But look at it, it's just massive, but it came with an unexpected reward. So I showed you that one bottle that we found that was really cool, and this was pretty near the surface, maybe 2 feet down, that we found last week. But as he's pulling this stump out, we hit what I guess was a trash pit. Remember, there was an old house here before the League-Kempner House that burned in the Great Fire of 1885, and this would have been their backyard. And back then people, they didn't have trash service like we have today. A lot of families just dug giant holes in the yard and threw their trash in it, and we see online all the time where people find these pits and come up with just incredible things. That we've never found anything like that until today. So as he's digging and digging and digging, trying to get this stump out, he gets into the edge of what we think might be one of those trash pits. And fortunately, Josh's helper and I have been standing here watching very intently the digging because we are looking for bricks to get out and save. So suddenly I see a shape in the dirt and I go over and grab it, and it is a fully intact bottle. I am so excited at this point. I was excited to find the first one with the stopper, but now we found a second bottle, and where there's 2, maybe there's 3. So my attention shifted from bricks to bottles, and it's a different kind of spotting technique. They're actually hard to see in the dirt. The bricks are big and kind of easy to see, but I'm really excited at this point. And if you've watched these videos, you know I don't get excited very easily. I'm kind of a steady, calm person, but this to me, I felt like one of those little grackles looking for worms. I am now all over this dirt pile and intently watching what Josh does with this dirt. So I have to be careful. It's a big piece of equipment. I don't want to run out there and get in his way, but I'm really on it. And his helper, his assistant that was there, he was very excited about the bottle too, so he's looking also. So fingers crossed we're going to find something else. And sure enough, it doesn't take very long before we spot something else. And it's amazing that you can kind of see it from far away. But lo and behold, there it is. Now this time we're not so lucky. This one turned out to be broken, but it's still almost fully intact, and it's a completely different shape and type of bottle. So I was excited to see that. And at this point, Josh kind of changes how he's digging. We've found two things in this area now, and so he's getting a little excited. So instead of just getting big scoops of dirt, he's taking, it's hard to tell on video, but he's getting smaller scoops of dirt, and he's kind of shaking it out to loosen the dirt and let us see what's in there. And sure enough, there's another one. And this one is a green bottle. It's fully intact. And then another broken bottle. So now we're all getting pretty excited. So the dig changes from trying to get the stump out to trying to get the stump out and find bottles. So it probably would have taken him, I don't know, another 5-10 minutes to get the stump out. Instead, it turned into about an hour-long thing because we're all into it now. He's stopping the equipment and jumping out and pulling bottles out. We're pulling bottles out. So a pretty exciting day here at the house, all because of a dead palm tree. There's another one. And this one's pretty cute. It's a little tiny bottle. I'll show them to you when they're all cleaned up. We still have to get this palm tree out of here, and eventually he does get it loose and pull it out of there. But we did decide not to do the other two. It was way too much work to do this. Even though I'm wondering now if there aren't more bottles over under those palm trees. At this point, I would like to dig the whole yard up and bring in some kind of a sifting piece of equipment and go down 5 feet deep and see what we get. But that's not practical, so we'll just have to be happy with whatever comes up kind of naturally here as we're doing the grading of the yard. Oh, and this is a cat's claw vine. That's the root of the cat's claw right out here in the middle of the yard all by itself, just waiting to sprout and wreak havoc on something. First I threw it back in the dirt, and then I thought better of it because it'll root and grow, so I'm going to throw it in my pile and put it in the trash and get rid of it. We do not need that vine anywhere else on this property. Well, that's the biggest one. That's the biggest one. So Josh took his machine over to change the bucket for his grabber thing, so we used the opportunity to get the hoe and go dig around in the dirt and see what else we could find. But eventually he came back and was able to get this big root ball out and get it moved over to the trash pile. It was something to see. This thing is massive and weighs a ton. With it gone, he went back to filling in the hole, but again, I've got this really sped up. He took his time, shook the dirt down, let us pick through everything and make sure we had kind of collected everything we could collect. You can see us finding more and finding more. It was a pretty exciting day. Once we were sure we had everything out of the dirt, then he went back to kind of the traditional work he had planned on doing, and that's just smoothing everything out, getting all of this sloped properly for the drainage to occur. There's still some bricks up here in the front where we found the foundation of the greenhouse. We had to get those out. And then the fun was done, and we were back to just regular work. But look at this. This is a platter piece, and it's stamped made in France, and we got actually tons of pieces of the platter up, so I'm hoping I can glue it up together and put it back. But like I said, fun time gone. It's back to serious business of getting the concrete out from in front of the driveway. This is that area where I broke my ankle We were going to pick this up by hand and haul it to the dump, but with the equipment there, instead of it being a multi-day backbreaking event, it could be done in a matter of about 15 minutes. So he scooped it out, hauled it off. It was great. We need to get that done and taken care of. But just look at part of our haul here. You can see a lot of broken things, but some fully intact things. I found a old tub and started soaking things in water. They're packed with dirt. This is an 1890 beer bottle. It's fun. We can Google these things. This came from a drugstore in Galveston. Once everything's cleaned, I'm going to look everything up and I'll get back with you with the find. Then you've met our volunteer, Michelle, before. She came and started doing some digging. She's taking a little break here. She'd been hauling dirt by a wheelbarrow from the back, but Josh used his bucket to bring a load closer. We've got all those ruts on the side to fill in. All right, they are gone for the day. Here's our new secondary pond, our ginormous swale, our slope back there, and then through the trees. An astounding amount of dirt that's been removed. We're coming back at 6:30 in the morning. We have a lot more to do. All right, they are back with the big dump truck to start hauling this away. I wanted to show you this palm tree root up close. A lot of concrete. Josh piled the dirt up, kind of sorted. So there's concrete, there's some of the root and organic matter. He's trying to keep it as clean as possible. There's an old hose somebody put in the yard, I guess, to water. I don't know. But anyway, when he hauls this off, there are places where you can dump fill for free, but it needs to be segregated. So people want clean fill dirt. Maybe there's still a few bricks in here, so I'm spending some time over with the hoe, kind of digging through and trying to get the last
buried in the yard
bricks out of here. We don't want to lose a single brick. We need all those, but it was quite the pile of debris. That's our old pipe from the original swale we put in, thinking we could pipe it away. And then the dump truck's here to start hauling this away. And I don't know how he does it, but Josh is able to maneuver in this very tight space. This thing can actually rotate, has a tight turning radius, but the gate is not very wide here and it's in delicate shape, so he's got to scoop this stuff up, spin around, and get it out into the dump truck. So this is a slow, tedious process, and fortunately the dump truck doesn't have to go very far. There's a dumping site nearby, so there's a waiting time in between the dump truck leaving, dumping, and coming back, and he uses that time to kind of do some finish fine-tuning grading. Okay, I raked this once yesterday and then we had to make it deeper, so I'm going to rake it again. So as the pile gets smaller, he's got more room to maneuver. But you can see all the old concrete. I don't know, there's just so much trash and debris under the ground here. But everything looks great. This area is all smoothed out. All those big holes from the tree roots are gone. So it's getting close to 9:30 and our volunteers start showing up. Kelly came down to watch. Jo showed up. She had to drive in separately. She doesn't like to get up early, and since I had to be here at 6 a.m., that wasn't an option for her. And then my niece Carly came in and spent a week with me, so we had quite the crew going. And then there was some fine-tuning to do over by the garage. Once that concrete was out, we want to get the slope right. Then one of our volunteers came by, Michael. He had these great mugs made for us. And before we knew it, we had a whole collection of volunteers there. And I just got so tickled because they were standing around having kind of like that water cooler conversation, except they were all huddled around the garbage can. We're very, very glamorous here. Go inside for a minute and things happen. How they got that in the gate, I don't know. But I'm guessing that's the sand. So all of this area that we scraped off will have to be resodded. If we don't sod it, it'll just be full of weeds and look horrible. So before we put the sod down, Josh recommended that we put down kind of a thin layer of sand to really, really smooth everything out and give the sod a good base to put its roots down through. So I don't know how many dump trucks it's going to take of sand, but I was just shocked that they got this thing through the fence. It was a very tight squeeze, and I'm sure this is a much quicker way to do it than dumping it outside and scooping it up and bringing it in a scoop at a time. But it was astounding to me just how precise they can be with this big, heavy equipment. Of course, it's their job, it's what they do all the time, so they're good at it. But when they went out of the fence, they had to be exactly perpendicular to the opening, and there was not even 6 inches of room on either side of this truck. So I can see getting it out, but I wish I'd been there to see them back it up, because they would have to do some kind of a Y turn out in the street and get perpendicular before coming in here. But they made it. Not that it would matter if they hit our fence. It's already falling down and not in great shape. That's another project for another day. But the sand went down, and then everything really looked great. This yard is so much better than it was before. So we are so very, very optimistic about the water flow, because remember, that's the whole purpose of this, is to keep water from getting over in the basement so that we can resume our construction activities there. And we brought in extra sand in front of the garage because we're going to pave this with either pavers or brick and make a pad out there. And then it was time for our volunteer Kathy to get to work. We were back on palm tree duty. All right, so Kathy and I are in the basement, and she just put in the 90 cc's of water, and we've got distilled water this time, which we noted on the bottle is just right kind of below the paper, so we don't have to measure next time. We can just do a bottle, and you have to shake it quite a while to get it fully dissolved. So we'll have a little time. While she's shaking, I'll go show you the yard. So they are putting the sand layer on and doing final smoothing so that we can lay sod down. So it looks much, much nicer. We've got a nice layer of sand, and everything's kind of sloped. We saved our peach tree this time. That may still go when we build bathrooms over here and work on that side. No more holes. All right. Hold on. It's looking good. Oh, and there's the level. So that's the level of the door over there?
It's 2 inches lower.
2 inches lower than the door to the basement. So you can hear the noise. So hopefully none of this will be running to the basement anymore. It will all be running to the back here.
Give you enough room to put some sod down.
Yeah, and we still have room to put sod, and it'll settle when it rains. So we're official. And then we've got kind of a retention area back there where water can flow and hold. All right, Kathy's still shaking away. Right, she's got her, yeah,
Only yellow.
yeah, it's very yellow. So you just screw it down, and our needle should still be good. So that's a sharp needle. Kathy was an infusion nurse, so she's good at this. And then let's go outside, and you'll just, whoops.
Yes, there's 3 inches right there.
Okay.
Don't go too fast.
There you go. So there's your first one. So where's a tree?
Oh, do you want this?
Oh no, you can stick that in your pocket. So is this one done over here? Is this the missing one you couldn't find?
What number is it?
Oh, it didn't get done. Okay. Let's go find another one. Oh, I see one right out here. So watch you've got glasses on. So all you do is, and she knows how to do this because she was a nurse, you just follow the slope down, give it a squeeze, pull it out, and it reloads. And that's it. So I'm going to go get your sheet so you can mark it off. All right, we've lost the clipboard, which is integral to the process. There's this stuff. It may be back in the basement. Oh, look, we have our first bloom. They're going to get wrapped up. We might get out of here on time. Kathy's on the job. She's got 82. And I am on checklist duty, so go over here. Can't. Not enough hands. 82. Anyway, I'm checking them off. All right, so we need 67, 68, 71, and 72. So let's see. 68, 69. Oh, they're down at the front corner over there.
All right, well, I'll do this one. It's 41.
Wait, 41 may have already been done.
Huh?
Oh, 41 needs doing. Yeah. 41, 42, 43, 44. Yeah, 41, 42, actually 42 through 53.
Okay.
So who's that? If you'll just tell me the number as you do them.
42, 41, 42.
Okay. Yeah, this is 43. This one's 43. So we had a surprise visit yesterday by Sterling from the Texas Department of Agriculture. He was down here for something else and stopped by to check out how we were progressing. So he documented that we had removed our trees as required, and I showed him our protocol that we're using to get everything treated and numbered and inventoried and how we're going to manage it. So he was quite impressed with our process. So we spent a long time visiting. And he took a quick tour of the house. So who's that one? 45. 45. Okay, here's the port over here. This is 46 over here. Joe and I are here not too early. It's a Saturday. It's been a long, very tiring week. Say hi, Joe.
Hi, everybody.
She's back behind the camera.
I should know I'm tired. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. But look what happened this week. We got our last of the grading in, well, maybe last, on the back side. We did not do the far green side over there that you see because we had such a difficult time getting the palm tree stump out that we decided to let those two rot in place and come back maybe when we do the bathroom grade that. But the gentleman that did the work for us brought us laser level. We've got the slope corrected on everything. We had not done this part before, and all that drained towards the house. Now it drains to the back. We got our big giant swale in, and we got all the concrete out here on the pad in front of the driveway. That's where I broke my ankle. So that was a safety hazard. It needed to go. We were going to do it by hand, but my gosh, after watching them lift it with the equipment, it was money well spent. But now we're going to go do a safety thing because we had a little accident the other day.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
So at this point, the battery in my mic died, so you can't hear anything that's going on. You can hear Joe every once in a while say, I didn't know that. Nobody tells me anything. But basically, we had someone trip on our guy wire, and fortunately, they weren't injured, but it is a dangerous situation, and it just had not occurred to me before to do something with it. And I was telling somebody about it, and they said, well, you can buy safety guards for that to make it visible. So sure enough, I went on Amazon and found this for, I don't know, $10, and it's just basically a corrugated plastic tube with a slit in it so you can slide it over the wire. And after I bought it, of course, I'm looking and seeing these everywhere on guy wires all over town. It just makes it highly visible. It's not the most attractive thing to have, but our rule, safety first. We don't really care what it looks like as long as it's safe. Now we are hoping to eventually have the money to talk to Centerpoint, who's our transmission provider, and do something different than this guy wire. They can actually set a second post. This post needs the wire because it's at the end of a long run, and so it's got a lot of tension from the wire pulling it, and they need this on the opposite side to counter all that weight and tension from the wire. So the pole can't stand alone without some other type of support, but hopefully we can do something in the future and get that a little bit better. We need to get rid of all this temporary service and do some things over here, but that's a ways away. So for right now, it'll be safe. And Joe and I, I don't know, kind of a funny story. We have an exciting afternoon planned. The Kempner family is coming. They do a reunion every year around the time of their fund's annual meeting, and they're bringing a busload of about 30 people. So we have a lot of work to do. I'm wearing just some disgusting clothes. I'm not dirty, but my shirt is stained and awful. Joe has a change of clothes. I have a change of clothes. Our plan was to get cleaned up and be very presentable before the Kempners came, and of course that didn't happen. We ended up having an incredibly hectic day, and they showed up a few minutes early, and neither one of us got changed and cleaned up. And then we also had a very exciting time. Our number one fan, Carson, showed up, and he had something great to show us. We're going to go start our day. All right, our number one fan is here with, okay, you.
This is in Roblox,
Okay,
and
it's
it's a replica of the League-Kempner
go
House.
back to the walk up the porch, because that was really cool.
If I can here.
All right. Look at this. Look
It's
at
a
this.
few videos.
And look at the green on our shutters.
I actually just replaced those shutters with the ones that actually have
And our
slats in
porch
them.
is flat and unblemished.
Yep. And these
Oh,
doors
wow.
work and everything.
Oh my
We're standing
gosh.
right here.
And you've got the light fixture we took down.
Oh, yes.
So you went back to an old video.
Oh
and
yeah,
got that.
I've watched videos over and over again to get
The
this.
detail. Oh
I
my
might be
gosh.
like confusing your view count or something here.
No, it helps us. Don't worry about that. Wow,
But
you've
yeah.
come so far.
I know.
Wow.
And this was just from my last visit on the 23rd of March. So I'm going to show something incredible here because, yeah, that's
Oh my
the
gosh.
addition there.
Oh,
I'm
you've
gonna-
got the stained glass?
Yeah, it's not going to
Doesn't
go
have the
any
flowers
further than
yet.
that because that's a whole thing. But,
Wow.
um,
Oh, you've got the lavender bathroom.
oh yeah, I got everything. But, I mean, it's a project. There's always something to do at the League-Kempner House.
Oh my gosh, this is phenomenal.
And not toilet flushes. I don't show it, but that's an incredible thing.
Wow.
And that's Daisy's bedroom with the window. With
You've
the,
even got the correct sash lift
oh
on
yes, oh yes. Actually, it's funny. I don't have the correct door handles. I just use the sash lifts.
there. Lift
yeah,
as the example.
because but it's.
Okay, that's phenomenal.
I know.
Okay, you are our number one fan.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Hello. But yeah, it's.
So our incredibly busy week wrapped up on a really great note. It was so fun having an unexpected visit from Carson, and this video game he's creating in the software of the house is just amazing. I wish you could see it close up and in person. Hopefully it comes off on the screen with the incredible detail and effort that he's put into it. So thank you so much for that. And then of course the swarm of Kempners coming off the bus was fabulous to see. I think they had 31 Kempner descendants there, and there was just no time to take pictures. I got this shot of them coming off the bus and a little bit on the porch, but then we had to tour and visit and talk to them, and it was just amazing to have so many descendants in the house. And a big thank you again to the Kempner Fund for the money for our roof. They were very interested in all the work going on in the house. They had the younger generation there, and it was nice to kind of give them a history lesson on the house and the importance to the community and everything that's going on. So we ended on a really high note. I wish I had changed clothes and had a chance to clean up, but they really got to see the true face of renovation. It is a dirty, hot, messy business, and we epitomized that today. We were the embodiment of grime, but they didn't seem to care. They love the house. They're very appreciative of the efforts going on to restore their family home, and we had a great end to the week, but it is not wrapped up. We are still phenomenally busy. We'll pick up next week with more goings on. We are on a roll here at the house on the restoration side. So be sure and turn on your notifications and subscribe and follow us here, and check us out over on YouTube and Instagram. And we will see you back next week with more exciting changes here at the League-Kempner House in Galveston, Texas.